Life before Peckham, I really didn't feel like I felt in because I am on the autism spectrum, so otherwise known as ASD, autism spectrum disorder. And with a lot of us, it's hard for us to feel like we fit in because, we try to fit in as much as possible. But, when the autistic tics take over, a lot of people don't understand, or it's like, okay, they're going off on a tangent. It's like, no, it's not a tangent. This is just my thought process. This is how I process things. And a lot of people who are neurotypical, and that's people who aren't on the spectrum, have a hard time understanding, and they aren't patient with us because they don't understand, okay, this is a person's thought process. Before Peckham, I worked in a bookstore, and I've worked in bakeries, I've worked in the teaching field, and I've worked in retail. I had recently moved back up here from Indiana, and I was looking for employment, and someone made mention of Peckham, and they mentioned it helps people with disabilities, and so I applied, and I was accepted. When I applied, it was for a regular CSR position, but since then it's morphed into something different. It is customer service representative that does special projects. It can vary because one day when you come in, you might not be working on the same project that you were working on yesterday. As you come in, it's like, oh, I'll be working on this today. Oh, I'll be working on that today. Oh, I'm working on a whole bunch of different things today. And when you have one situation and you're able to bring it over to another project, it's helpful because you have the background knowledge. It's like, okay, it's similar to this, but it's not the exact same thing. Well, one of the big obstacles I've overcome is not being able to do teamwork. Now I'm able to do teamwork because, for years it's like, because of my autism, going off and just doing something on my own and not checking, saying, hey, do you need help with this? Do you need help with that? It would just be going rogue and just doing it. Whereas now it's just like, okay, we've got this going on. Who needs help here? Who needs help there? Would you like me to do this? Would you like me to do that? I'm dependable because people know that I'll be there to help pick up the pieces when things fall apart. And it's just always just been a part of me. Probably the difference working here is that people are more understanding and more acceptable of people who have disabilities, and they realize everyone who's here has one, and we all have different experiences, and we all bring different things to the table. So my experience is different than someone else's experience, but we can use what we have and what we've gone through in our lives to help each other. What I've experienced working here is a whole different level than working in a retail location. But once you're there, it's like, this is what you do all day, and it's the same thing, and you get into this mindset, oh, I work in this place, and because I work in this place, da-da-da-da-da. When I was much younger, my attitude wasn't very positive, but as I've gotten older and become more comfortable with myself, but, the positivities come out. It's like, I'm a Quaker, so, and my faith is very strong, and a lot of my faith helps with my positivity. One of my great-grandfathers came from a small village in Russia, and he was really into gardening and farming, and then my mother picked it up from him, and she passed it along to me, and then my dad grew up on a farm, and so he's, essentially a farm kid, and he passed that love on to me too. From there, I was asked to become a part of it. I start early in the morning and I don't call it a day until the end, so it was just another thing that I just added to my day. Sometimes in the morning I will get here and I will work outside, and I'll do work outside in the hoop house or in the gardens, and I'll do work in here, and then I take some time to relax. Sometimes during peak season it can be 50 plus hours a week, and then once peak season falls off it reduces down, and then when the holidays come it increases itself. So each week is different. You don't know what you're going to be coming into until the next day. What it is you grow crops inside of it. Some are set up so you can grow year-round, which we do here. We grow year-round, and some of them are just set up for when it's cold. Sometimes in the spring we get people visiting the hoop house, and they take our supplies, and so we've had to put expensive equipment in other places so that the tools and things don't get picked up and walked away with someone else. And we'll have plants stolen, and we'll have people come in and steal vegetables, but that's, But I don't mind so much about the people taking the vegetables because it could be somebody who really needs it, who's really hungry, and that's their only food for the day. I really could have, blown my fuse when that happened, but, it's like I stood outside, took a deep breath, I voiced my concerns, I let it out, verbally and everything, and we worked through it. Whereas if I had been younger, oh, it would have been a different story. I enjoy reading, and I enjoy being outside as much as I possibly can. I like to take meditative walks, and because of a lot of the work that I do, I've been invited to actually help with other faith communities in town start their green spaces. One of the places where I've been invited to help out was my place of worship when I was a child, and I was reconnecting with people there after I came back from Indiana, and I was talking about things that I've done since I've come back to Michigan, and they've invited me to help out. Oh, well, my Bible. Yeah, I enjoy reading my Bible, and then I enjoy reading a lot of nonfiction, so I'll be seen around here reading a lot of gardening books, a lot of books about science, things like that. It's more of like a hybridization because a lot of things I've been able to do in my professional life, I've been able to carry over into my personal life, such as working on projects with green spaces and things like that. And also the compassion from my non-work life, I'm able to bring that over into my work life because it shows that just because someone has a label, there's a person's more than their label. It's like a person goes around, they've been labeled X, but they're more than X. You just have to take the time to get to know that person. Someday I hope to get my master gardener. That consists of work time through the extension office at Michigan State University. For me, a master gardener is a person who's been spending years working and learning and teaching and things like that. They mostly teach, but also some of them can be in charge of big nurseries and things along that line. And when that does happen, I'd probably use it more as a teaching tool. I was totally and completely surprised when they told me that. I'm just like, there's so many more people here that are more worthy and more deserving of that. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I just totally knocked my socks off. I'm just like, oh, me? Oh, okay. Never give up. The moment you get discouraged, there's always somebody out there who loves you and cares about you. And even though you think, oh, no one out there cares, there is someone out there who cares. You might not know them today, you might not know them tomorrow, maybe sometime in the future you will know them, but there's always somebody out there who cares. Love God, serve others, and live simply. My name is Theresa Dhondup, and I am the Peckham 2022 Business Services Worker of the Year.